Okay, well, maybe I'm just being selfish on this webinar, but so I feel like you're talking specifically to me. So what would be like some practical exercises that you could do? I think there's some people out there too it resonates with, but what would be like a practical way to go about that, the strengthening stretching? Do you have like a couple things that maybe people could do on a regular basis to help that process?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll actually show you if you had no time or were just so lazy and you only wanted to pick one stretch and one strengthener to do per day. I'll show you those two. Of course, it'd be much better if you could address the pelvis in all the ways that it could go out of balance in different areas of your body. But I'm going to show you my top two favorites. So I'm going to give you one stretch that will actually stretch multiple areas that are typically short, and then I'm going to show you one strengthener that'll strengthen multiple areas that are typically weak and overstretched. So I'm going to just shift my camera angle a little bit here, and I'll show you the stretch first. Can you see me okay here? Okay, so I'm going to come into a lunge position. My back foot is straight ahead, so I can get a calf stretch there. I'm getting a gentle hip flexor stretch here. A keyword again is gentle. And then I'm getting a chest stretch from this position. And then basically the chest typically gets short from, as we discussed earlier. The hip flexor typically gets short, as discussed earlier, and then one of the few areas on the back line of the body that gets short generally is the calves, because we're constantly contracting them when we're walking and running. So I would do this stretch. Well, imagine I did this for at least 1 minute on this side. And when I come to the other side, if you're a racket and paddle sports player, instead of doing the same chest stretch, since you already did that one for a minute, you can do a wrist flexor stretch for the arm that your dominant arm that you use. Like whenever you grip something, it'll shorten the wrist flexors and overstretch the extensors, which could lead to things like tennis elbow. So we could gently stretch your dominant arm as we're doing this. If you didn't want to do that stretch, you could do a higher up chest stretch, something like this. To get different fibers is always good, or a chest stretch this way. So we'll imagine that we have done that for 1 minute. And then, so that's my favorite 1 minute stretch on each side, because it just addresses so many areas that people need to work on. I'm going to show you now on the, I have a massage table here, but you can do this in bed or on the floor, a strengthener that I really like. So I grab, actually, if you just get a common pillow and fold it in half, we're going to use this for strengthening our inner thighs. I'm going to come here. I'm going to take the pillow and place it right between my thighs. And now the first option here is I could focus just on my inner thighs. So we'll call this the easier variation, where I will inhale, squeeze the pillow vigorously, just a couple seconds, and then exhale, release. I'll do that once without talking. So on my exhale, I'm just releasing the grip of the pillow. Next variation, I'm going to engage my hamstrings and my glute muscles. So on my inhale, I'm going to send my pelvis up toward the ceiling and contract my undercarriage and squeeze the pillow all at the same time. And then I'll exhale and come back down. I'll do 2 of those so you can see that. So in that exercise, basically, we're getting to work on the glutes, the hamstrings, and the inner thigh muscles all in one. So I do about 10 to 15 of those reps. Do a couple seconds squeeze at the top of the inhale, then exhale, come back down. If you're really strong or you want to do variations, you could hold at the top and just breathe in and out as you're just vigorously squeezing everything. A couple other variations too for the standing runner's lunge that I showed. If it's not comfortable to stand, you could always put a pillow, I'll show you here, under one knee and do the stretch on the ground. Or really nice way to do this is you can come up one leg onto a chair at whatever height and get your stretch this way. So those are a couple of variations. There's others as well, but those are a couple exercises that are in the video that we put together. It's about an hour long and about a 45-minute neuromuscular balancing based class, and also talks a little more in depth about what areas to stretch and strengthen and why. But hopefully with this talk that we're having today, it starts to highlight some of these debunking of myths and gets people thinking a little bit more about how they may want to inform their workouts. And I generally will recommend if you're an athlete and you're getting ready for competition, you do your dynamic warm-up exercises in the beginning. If you are going to do any light stretching, make it light and do it on the areas that need it most so you don't exacerbate or pull anything. And then right when you're done with your performance, within that first 20 minutes, just get your stretches done, a minute on each muscle group that you know was shortened by the activity that you were doing. Do that right away, and throughout the day, if you can keep stretching at least 2 to 3 times these areas that are typically short, and then as you correct your muscle imbalances, you can start to create a more balanced approach. But another phrase that I like is basically, if you went to the gym or you did a yoga class or Pilates, if you came into that class imbalanced, so not imbalanced, and you did a balanced session, whatever modality that you had picked, you will walk out of that class out of balance. Because if you're not balanced coming into a session, you essentially need to do more corrective to get into balance. So it's another kind of way of thinking about it. So I hope this information helps a lot. It helped me a ton. Passionate about sharing it and all the different things that I incorporating it in what I teach, and also in a standalone like this. I think if more people did this, there would be less need for relying on others and hospital visits and seeing the doctor for annoying back pain and such. And even if you have no pain and everything's going well, doing these exercises will help preventatively for the future so you can stay balanced. And also, you might be a little imbalanced and still have no pain, but if you can get better balance, you'll perform better, so you can get that edge over your competition. So there's just a lot of reasons that this kind of approach is for everyone. It's just important that that you do whatever you do, that you do it with no pain. So if something doesn't feel right, even if it's something that I'm sharing and it seems to make sense to you, just omit that one for the time being, or see if there's a way to better modify it to suit you. So
yeah, no, this content is amazing. And yeah, even just what you're saying too, like the preventative thing, like what would it mean for your athletic performance if you reduced injuries, got to train more, got to do things more, stayed on the court more because of what you're doing off the court? I mean, that type of bodily maintenance will absolutely give you the edge.